Alright, hey, what's going on everybody? So I'm back with another 25 free presets for Serum here. This one is called Accomplishment. So before we get into it, I've been a little busy working on the back end of like my kind of music business stuff. So I just released a new design to my website, and in the menu up here, I've kind of tried to lay it out really simple for you guys. So for example, for these free presets in the resources, you guys can go free presets, and you guys go like Serum. And the ones I've released so far, these free banks is initial, continuance, and advancement. This one is called Accomplishment. You know, like you guys can come up here and check out like my music or like my studio setup or like the gear that I use, or once I start streaming, you guys can be checking out my actual live page, you know. So if you guys have any feedback on what it looks like, just let me know. Also, another thing that's been taking up my time is I have been working on a piano course. And this is the image, so it's called Piano for Beat Makers. And what I teach in this course is just how to get started playing the piano, how a piano works, and also how we as beat makers have to be looking at a piano, because you know, we beat makers play the piano a lot different than classical piano players. And that's kind of my whole mindset behind this course. And by the end of that course, hopefully I get you to the point where you're able to improvise on the piano, and then it's kind of up to you to practice, and kind of then you're on your way. At least from like a music theory standpoint, you'll understand like chords, scales, notes, you know, how to count in beats and stuff like that. All that stuff is in the course. It is not yet released. You guys can just come to my website, come to the shop, and just be on the lookout for underneath the courses. So anyways, that stuff's been taking up my time, but I thought to kind of celebrate the launch of my new website, I would celebrate with some free Serum presets for you guys. So again, this one is called Accomplishment. So a bunch of bass sounds, some lead sounds, some pad sounds, and some plucked sounds. And before we get into it, this is a track that I created using all of these presets from this Accomplishment bank. So I'll let it play to about like the first little verse here or whatever. As you can see, nothing's mixed, nothing's really routed or anything. It's just super raw. But we will check it out, all right? So I kind of like this little sound, how it kind of does like this little uprising, this little thing. Kind of sounds cool in the track. Okay, so let's go over the sounds here, and we will start at the bass sound here, okay? So this is the first preset in this bank called Accomplishment. Go down an octave lower. So it's called Bass for a reason. The next one is called Dainties of the King. And the reason why I called it Dainties of the King is because there's like a scripture in the Bible it talks about like, don't take the dainties from the king. So in other words, be careful what you take from someone, because a lot of times that can come back to bite you. For example, like, you know, if someone like offers you something and you take it, you know, that person might subliminally try and like trick you to be like, well, you have to pay me back for that. So it's kind of like, be careful what you take. Try and always provide for yourself, and, you know, always pay people back and stuff like that. Okay, so Dainties of the King. Okay, on to the next. Grand Slam. And for myself, I really like to use basses up high too as leads. So that one isn't, kind of sounds like a flute. Even if we go back a little bit, back when we're with the bass. You know, like for example, in the effects, if I come here with like reverb and just really load it on, so maybe some chorus and some delay, so. Okay, moving forward, but that's just kind of a little trick I like to do. I many times like to use a bass as a lead too. something I've kind of found over the years. So this one's called Hashtag This. Okay, this one's called Never Give Up. So that's pretty low. That one sounds a bit wider sounding. So it's called Stand Up. This is probably our last bass sound. Pretty cool. Okay, so now we're into some leads. So okay, so that one's called Check Your Intentions. These next two, what I did was I pitched one up and I left one as it was. It's just something I found as I was playing with them. I kind of liked it pitched up, but then I also liked it just as it was. I don't know. So you'll hear like a lot of delay on that. And as you're playing, it kind of throws you off. But in context of like your beat, especially when you're playing like, you know, that can kind of add fullness to your track. And if it bugs you, you can always just come to the effects and just turn it off or just dial it back. And then we'll move on to the one that is pitched down. So this one's called Hand in the Cookie Jar. I think the reason why I called it this is because back in the day, like, I used to play basketball or whatever, and like whenever we went to like training camps or even at like lessons and stuff, they'd always like tell you to like make sure that you put your hand like in like the cookie jar. So like when you like, release like the ball, that's what your hand should look like. I don't know, that's just why I named it that. So this one's called I Wish for World Peace. And again, if you guys are wanting to learn to like play piano like that, that will be in this course I'm releasing called Piano for Beat Makers. It will be out very, very soon. So this one's called Intimacy. This one, I really like this sound a lot. I found myself using it often over and over, just to even just play around with it. I really, really doused it in reverb, and I'll let you listen. So as you can hear, tons of reverb on it, but that's actually the sound in this beat here when it goes like, so this sound right here, I believe that's Intimacy. So as you can see right there, and where were we? I think we're on 10. That's where we're at. Okay, so something like that. Really, really cool sound, that Intimacy one. So this one's called Purdy. So the portamento on that's quite high. You know, you can always dial it back, but it just kind of gives it like that almost like wet sound, or like, you know, when people kind of like with like their cheek, they go like stuff like that. Kind of sounds like that. Okay, so that's Purdy. Square in the Circle. You know, it's just always like that stereotype that's like, you can't stick me in like your circle or whatever. You know, that's a lot of times like what curriculums always try to do to people, you know, even though if they have like certain gifts or certain skills that they have, but just the way how like the system is built, they always try to put someone together in that certain way. And I guess that's why I named it this, Square in the Circle. So this time around, I kind of, just like from what I'm hearing, I've kind of layered it with some more effects than what I usually do. But, you know, sometimes that's cool just for creativity and variety, freshness. So Synthtronics. So this one was kind of bugging me a little bit because I was, I usually, once I design the sounds, I usually come back and listen to it again and try to like adjust all like the volumes for kind of similarness, just so it's like one sound isn't way louder for you guys. And just when you play the sound, I kind of find it goes like a little bit high. And even after trying to like dial this back and coming in here and kind of dialing like the sustain back and stuff, I don't know, I just wasn't able to get it sitting where I wanted to. But I don't know, I must have liked it as I was designing it, so. Okay, now I think we're into some pads pretty soon here. So this one's called The Sun's More Than Vitamin D, just because like the sun, like Jesus, and then there's like the sun, like the sun, and it's just like kind of like the same word but different spelling. So. And it's also kind of got that kind of like happy summerish kind of beat. Okay, on to the next. So on to some pads. Go a little lower on the keyboard. Okay, so that was called A Beautiful Thing, and that was our first pad. The next one is called Classic Pad For You. Okay, the next one is called Lots of Padding. So for anyone who does like web development, there's a thing called like margin or padding, and I'm assuming that's why I call it this one. So that one doesn't really have too much of a swell into it, but kind of got like the pad sound. So this one's called Motives, Mindset, Message. Okay, moving on. So reading to learn, just because you always got to keep learning. Willy-nilly. We're on to some PLUCKS. I think we only have 3 more sounds. This one's called Funky Monkey. Okay, this one is called Sprinkles on Top. You can turn these up just a little bit. I think I turned them down just because like they were distorting before, but. Okay, and on to, I believe, our final sound, which is called Twisting Knobs. So. So there you have it. That is Accomplishment. Again, 25 free presets here for Serum for you guys to download. Just check the link in the description. You guys can come to my website and a download button will be there for you guys to download Accomplishment. So also, if you guys are interested in the piano course, just be on the lookout on my website. Just come to the site, come to the shop section, and under courses it'll be in here. It'll just be called Piano for Beatmakers. Again, the resources, if you guys want to check out like my Silence 1 banks, and when I get some time, maybe I'll release some Harmer ones. I don't know. I sent out like a kind of a little survey there just to kind of get feedback from you guys on like what you want. But anyway, so I hope you guys enjoy Accomplishment. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for checking out the video, and I'll see you guys in future videos.